I sailed Snipes when I was a kid, and all the way through high school. In reality, started out crewing and came into driving a bunch. My parents had a Snipe, and so I was able to sail that boat for a while. They had an old Thor that they got from somebody, and it was wooden decks, and it was really cool. It was a lot of fun, and I just remembered a lot of times going over to Mission Bay Yacht Club and jumping in and racing with my mom or with other guys there, and it was definitely a key memory of mine is racing with the world champion when they had the Worlds in San Diego in the early 90s, and I got to race with them a couple of times at Mission Bay, and it was just that was so much fun. The whole reason that my folks ended up owning one was so that they could sail together, and it worked out really nicely that I could come in and crew when I was little for my dad, and then when I grew a bit older, then I would drive and Mom would crew for me or whatever. It was all over the place. And when my brother got a little older, I crewed an event for him one time when a junior regatta with him. So every combination you could possibly imagine, we sailed it with our families. The Snipe and the Star are very similar boats. They come from a similar era and they sail in a similar way, but the racing is what I took away the most. The tactics and racing sailing that goes on at Mission Bay especially, and offshore in San Diego. I learned a ton, watching sailors who are better than I am, or I was at the time, race against other guys and learn from their mistakes as well as my own. I was doing double time that whole time, I was learning from other people, learning from myself, and that's certainly what I took away from it, was the racing end of things, because there's so much of it and the sailing's so good. The Snipe fleet was kind of the first place where I learned about, sharing information and the tuning game. That happens in that class, and so everybody's really open and available with that kind of stuff. There's a lot of discussion, and yet it's still very open and easy to learn from each other. And that conversation going around the boat park was something that I learned a ton from. Just as a little kid, running around the boat park, I was listening in to hearing about how people were approaching different tuning settings and that kind of thing, and that's a perfect example of the level of camaraderie and sportsmanship amongst the sailors, that everybody's very open with information, and they're happy to have everybody going fast because they want to race against the best, no doubt. These guys are all levels of the sport, are racing the class, and they want to make sure that everybody's going as fast as they can. The best part about the Snipe is that you can jump in with just about anybody, especially young kids, because the size just works out really nicely to have a small crew, and it's just the easiest boat to learn from an expert, learn from an old timer, a master, just somebody that's just got it all done and can just share all his knowledge. That's definitely the best part about the boat for me. I learned a ton in my kind of formative years when I was sailing Sabbats and sailing, in the Opti years, that kind of age range, and I just learned so much from jumping on with older people, and you just sit there and listen and hike when they tell you to.